Zap, so please make sure you have that ready. I am going to link it in chat right now. So Mike Landeck is an application security testing expert and has consulted on security in software development cycle to dozens of commercial products. He's been a guest speaker at many conferences and workshops covering topics such as software security testing and software security management. So this is going to be a very, very cool talk, very interesting. But without further ado, please welcome Mike Landeck.
Hey, thank you all. Hey, if you can hear me, just nod your head.
Yeah.
You good? Okay, very good. So thank you for having me. This is like the world's worst day to lose my voice. I've actually, I'm losing my voice. So I'm going to speak up as much as I can. If you can't hear me or I'm breathing heavy, just put something in chat. So I'm sharing my desktop now, and I want to make clear, this is not a presentation. I don't like this asynchronous stuff. I want you guys to learn. I want you to ask questions. If you're stuck, I want to know early on. So I'm on the Discord. I think the chat's working here. The minute you feel stuck, the minute you have a question, don't wait to the end. Just keep them coming. You won't distract, but there's going to be as interactive as you possibly can be over Zoom. The agenda is pretty straightforward. We're going to spend the first few minutes getting set up. If you don't have your Zap installed, you should. You can still continue and participate. It won't be nearly as much fun, but you can continue. It's better to have it there. For the first 20 minutes, we're going to do actually, let me just kind of jump to my bio, then we'll jump back. So by day, I'm an executive. I get paid to help manage security programs, and I specialize in working with companies that write software for really high risk stuff. I've helped secure some of the most risky software in the country, from everything from stock exchanges to three-letter agencies. That said, in my private time, weekends and nights, I'm a security researcher. I write software and I break things. I make disclosures, most of them you've ever heard of. I've written software that helps break up some child trafficking. I do a lot of research on your privacy. When you go places, how your web browser is tracking you, I research that. So I do a lot of that. I've spoken at DEF CON, I've spoken at a lot of B-sides on stuff like this. So by day, wear a suit. By night, I wear a black t-shirt. What I really love, though, is I love coaching and teaching, and there's a lot of people out there that were my interns that are now security leaders. I love interns. I love coaching. I put my link in the Discord. Any one of you, I'm on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn's right there. I'm on Twitter. Send me your resume if you're interviewing for a job. Reach out. I'll even practice. I love helping people get jobs. So feel free to. You're in my workshop now, so you know me. We're good. I'm a Cal and San Jose State alumni. I'm an Occidental parent right down the street at college. So what we're here today for is called Bad Science Hacking Adventure. And back in the 90s, product security, application security really wasn't a thing. There were those of us who were out there breaking, and we would make these disclosures and warn people saying your software is broken. And the truth is nobody actually cared. It was horrible. And it was so frustrating, morale was so low. What I did one year, it was actually just kind of this venting thing. I took all the product flaws we found that year, and I put them into one big giant hackathon. And I essentially set up, back in the old LAN party days, I set my house up as a big wired LAN, bunch of pizza, bunch of beer, and people got to literally hack and break into and exploit all these flaws we saw. And it was cathartic and wonderful, and they loved it. But what it's grown into now is it's grown into this party I have, and it's online this year, and it's called Bad Santa's Hacking Adventure. It's a long story why it's called Bad Santa, but essentially hackers from all over the world participate in it. And it's not your usual hackathon. You don't point a tool, you don't exploit. What it does now is it's designed to help you think. And we're going to jump back up here. I'm going to jump down here. I'm sorry. But I know a lot of you are focused on your careers and you're getting ready to graduate. And for those of you who want to go into application security or product security, literally being breakers, most of you will start off as security analysts or test engineers, and you're going to focus on automated tools and reviewing and vetting findings. That's a great way to start. It's fun. It's your foot in the door, but it's really worthwhile work. And those of you who like it and want to continue will probably move on to become pen testers or ethical hackers. And there your focus will really be on, you'll advance your skills, you'll use the frameworks, checklists, and specific rules and goals and objectives. and that's your progression. And we're going to do both of those a little bit today. Where I come in is I help people go really from pen tester to researcher bug bounty hunter. And it's really three things. It's critical thinking, it's observing, and I call it curiosity bordering on OCD. And what this Bad Santa Hacker Escape Room is designed to do today is, it looks like there's some chat. If someone's chatting me, I'm not seeing it. I'll keep it. So it's really focused up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get started. We're going to use a tool called Zap. I'm going to teach how to use the Zap tool, and we're going to start doing some hacking and thinking. And when you come back up here, we're going to, the last part is we're going to go out to an exposed website, and we're actually, for those of you who just want to hack something, which is cool, and I want to do it too, we're going to do some authentication bypasses against a vulnerable website when we're allowed to hack. We won't go to jail for it. So with that said, what I'd like you to do is open up your Zap. And it looks like this. So I'm not able to see the chat.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. If you go like to the top bar, at the very top of your screen, there should be like a green bar up there. And then if you like hover over that, it should be like a drop down, and then click somewhere there, and there should be chat. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it. I use Zoom all the time, and there's something odd going on here. Well, someone just asked if you could maximize your window. I have two windows open on one monitor.
Sure, no problem there.
I'll try to relay anything.
Yeah,
to you.
thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I use Zoom. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it today. I'm just not seeing chat, and not really sure why. So open up your Zap. So first thing I want you to do is when you go to Zap, there's all kinds of special plugins, but you're going to see these little colored things, these boxes here. Go ahead and click on that. There's one we need to add, and there's lots to add. But if you go to the marketplace, there's this one here we're going to use today. And it's in beta, but go ahead and you're simply going to click the button here, check the box, and go ahead and install it. So for those who missed it, these little three colored boxes here, click on those, find it in marketplace, and click install. It'll install in the background. That's okay. And I'll put it in Discord, but we have a special Bad Santa for us called Swift. So go ahead and type in http://swift.badsanta.com. Uncheck the HUD. That one just gets in the way. And then when you're done with that, click launch your browser. And I will put that in Discord for those who need it.
Mike, would it maybe be better if people ask you questions on Discord since you can't see on Zoom?
Yeah, please do. I'm not sure why the Zoom's not working, but feel free to ask on Discord. I'm in the workshop group. If there's a better channel to be on, I'm happy to switch.
I think that works. Workshop channel, everyone.
Yeah, I really don't know why I'm not seeing the chat. So if you want to ask in Discord, I'll keep an eye on it.
Yes, someone said, can you re-explain how to get to Marketplace, please?
Yeah, of course. So when you go here at the very top of your Zap, there are these three colored boxes. There's a red box, blue box, green box. If you click on that, it'll create this pop-up. And under Marketplace, there's install what you have installed, and ignore mine, I've got a lot installed. Then click Marketplace, and what it'll look like this. It's called image location and privacy. And what this does is part of what this will actually do is anytime an image comes to your browser, it'll check the metadata. There's something called the EFIS data, just the metadata. That's how they track people, your location data, different things like that. It's things that you don't want to have from your iPhone. it actually checks every image for that and will report on that. It's a pretty cool plugin to have when you're surfing around. There we go. Okay. Yep. So when you get to Bad Santa, go ahead and register any name you want to. You can make up whatever you want. Then when you log in, you'll all be part of the Swift group, Cal Poly Swift group. And the first thing you'll see is this. And up here, it'll tell, if you click here, you can see a team scoreboard. It's like we've got not a lot of users so far. I'm going to give you all a few minutes to catch up. So while you're all catching up, this map is your point of entry, and it's designed this way on purpose. And the reason is, when you look at the people that are starting their career, the early people, the pen testers and engineers, they approach a job very linearly. And as you can see, you've got your start here, your finish here, and you can actually go end to end and finish, and you'll miss about half of the challenges. When you go to the scoreboard, you'll have a lot of levels completed, but all of this will be left empty. So the reason I have it like this is exactly because of that. So if you click on scores, it'll tell you your personal scores, where you're at. All of these are things that you should be looking for and fighting. So let's see who all. Okay, so there's only actually 4 users so far. I'm not. If there's just that few people registering, or if you're behind, I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and wait a little bit. So if I don't want to go on if you're all trying to get on still.
We have one more question in Zoom here, Mike.
Uh-huh.
Someone said, once we find the image locations under Marketplace, what do we do next?
So go ahead and check the box. Go ahead and, if you're in Marketplace, for anything, go ahead and check the box. And then click at the bottom here, it says install selected. Go ahead and click install selected. Yeah, I'm just not seeing that chat. I can click on launch chat, but it doesn't launch. There's not sure what's going on.
It's really weird. Not sure why that's happening for you.
That's okay. Okay. What? Oh, so for Kevin, that's the HUD. I find it kind of annoying. If you go ahead and close it out and start over again. When you go here, so there's this button here, it says enable HUD. What that does is it gives you real-time information about the web page. It's actually pretty useful if you're looking for stuff like that. For us, we're not looking for it, gets in the way. So go ahead and uncheck that, and you want to go to swift.badsanta.org, not .com.org. Okay, cool. Yeah, the HUD. If you're looking for that kind of data, just to while you're all catching up, what Zap does is it tells you alerts, and it has. If you look at it, there's what are called high severity, medium severity, low severity informational. For most of what we're doing, in my work, if I can't hack it, if I can't exploit it, I don't care that much. The fact that something's informational is good and curious. If you look at the informational findings, for example, it says there's a Unix timestamp. It says, don't really care that much. Disclosure sensitive information, that kind of stuff I do care about, but it's a false positive more often than not. So I don't really get that excited. So I just leave the HUD off. Okay, so let's see. Well, we're up to quite a few. Fantastic. I'm going to wait a little bit. If you're using a Mac, I get the formatting's off. I'm not sure why. I use Linux and Windows exclusively. But if you're using a Mac, it's going to look a little funky. So, yeah, so it looks like, guys, so what you did is that you didn't put Swift in there. So that's actually a point of entry, which is fine, but you won't be playing. So why don't you go ahead and retype swift.badcenter.org. If you go to just regular badcenter.org, that's actually the point of entry. But you won't be playing as part of the Swift team, is all. Oh, are some of you using your regular browser? If you're using your, please don't use a regular browser. I need to, let me close this. So here, go to this page where it says Quick Start. Type in it here and launch your browser. If you don't do that, what will happen is your traffic won't proxy to the Zap tool. And what's happening with the Zap tool is usually your browser will go straight to the web server, make the request. You've got an HTTP request from your browser to the web server. And what's happening here is it's going from the browser through Zap to the web server back through Zap to your browser. And it's intercepting all that traffic and analyzing that traffic. And if you use your browser without using it, out mousing it through Zap, you won't be proxying it correctly. So launch through Zap and make sure it's swift.badcenter.org. So Kevin, Kevin put something in Discord. It's not your image capture is not coming through. I'm just seeing some spinning purple boxes, unless that's what you actually put in there. Yeah, .org. So yeah, I'm gonna. So for Kevin, I'm gonna Kelly VM as well. Actually, I'm gonna Ubuntu VM, but it's the same thing. It's all good. So make sure it's badcenter.org. O-R-G. So swift.badcenter.org. And it doesn't need to be a VM. You can install Kelly. It's in Java. Install it directly on your Windows machine, your Mac, your MacBook, your Chromebook. It runs anything. I'm running it on Linux just so I can share things out easier. But it can do whatever you want to. It's written in Java. There's an organization called OWASP, and it's one of the best maintained pieces of open source software out there. It's like, okay. So I'm going to go ahead. It looks like Kevin's typing one more thing. Yep, go ahead. So go ahead and register. Call yourself whatever you'd like to. It doesn't matter. Just type it and then get to here. And we've got a cross-site scripter. So the good news is this is for those of you looking to be web developers and web pen testers. The site uses output encoding. There's actually only one spot in the entire site that's open to intentionally vulnerable to cross-site scripting. And when you find that, you'll actually get some points. So bonus points for trying, more bonus points when you actually find it. And so people, cross-site scripting is when you put JavaScript code into a web page. So on the web page, when the web server sends the code back to your browser, and the browser, instead of rendering it like a markup, it actually executes it or interprets it to the JavaScript interpreter, causing all kinds of naughty things in your website. It's called cross-site scripting. And this site is actually vulnerable to cross-site scripting. And for those of you who care, it's actually on this page. This is the one page that has cross-site scripting. Looks like one message. Someone's getting a Java stack error. I have no idea what it kind of looks. Kelly, I have no idea what that's going on. Oh, you know what? So you've got HTTPS. What's happening is your browser is looking for a cert that's not there. So it's not HTTPS. So it looks, I'm not sure who posted that. So no HTTPS, just HTTP swift.badtenna.org. That's what caused your Java stack error. Okay, cool. So let's get started. So if you now go back to your Zap and you look at sites, what you have here is all the traffic from your browser was intercepted and recorded here. And there's a few things to get rid of. There's a couple of Mozilla things here. 3 you can get rid of. 4, that's just your browser doing some housekeeping. There's a couple of Twitter things. 1, we don't want to see those, and 2, we don't want to risk attacking those by accident. So highlight them and then right-click them. When you right-click them, there'll be an exclude. Choose exclude from proxy. And what that does, it tells Zap, don't intercept these anymore, just ignore those. They'll still get passed back and forth between your browser and the servers, but they won't be part of Zap anymore. So go ahead and just, the way I did it is I right-clicked it. I went to exclude. Go to proxy. Then click it. You'll get this context menu. And then just click OK. At the bottom right-hand corner here, it's OK. And what you'll see is it gets rid of that. And for those of you up here, always keep it in standard mode. There's safe mode, protected mode, which are very conservative. Attack mode, you don't want to do. If you put it in attack mode, what will happen is it'll attack everything that comes through. So for example, when you saw Mozilla come through and Twitter come through, attack mode would have actually started attacking those. So standard mode, you can still do your job and not go to jail. So the goal here today is to not go to jail. So when you come down here, what you see is that, and if you look at your browser, it matches your browser. There's a subdirectory called 2020, and it'll show you you went through registration, you saw the scoreboard, and the page we were on is get met. And up here, you've got the request. Because remember, with HTTP, there's always a request, and the request in this case is metadata. And you can see the user agent is your browser. There's some cookies, and looking at this, the first thing I do as a hacker is I look at the metadata. These are so over here under sites, open it up, just highlight one. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold your control key down. If you hold the control key down, you can click on all the things at once. If you hold your shift key down, it'll do a range. So that's my shift key right there. Using my control key, I can be more selective. Okay. It looks like someone's going to a launch from the website. So if you go to quick start, if you make sure you have http://swift.badsanta.org, and then you'll click launch. Okay. So, okay, looks like we're good. So going here, if you go back to the map page, you've got the request, and that's your browser telling you, the web server, I want the data for this page. And as a hacker, the things I look at are anything interesting, cookies particularly. So off the bat, right away, I know it's using PHP session management. And these are cookies. And a cookie is a bit of metadata that gets passed back and forth in the HTTP header to allow persistence. And there's a cookie here called "This is useful." The cookie is called "This useful," and the value of the cookie is "This is the scoreboard." So I'm already thinking that's kind of interesting to me. And this tab right here next to it's the response, and this is what the web server sent back to your browser. And up top is the HTTP header, and we're looking for interesting things. So we know there's an Apache web server. We know the PHP version. All this is very interesting to me. What I'd be doing now is be looking for any known vulnerabilities in PHP 7.2.34. If you come down here, this is the HTML that got sent back. So HTML is hypertext markup language, and this is what actually gets rendered in your browser. And what I do is I look through here. I look through comments, and there's a description. The description is when you Google something. It's what the site describes. There's a title, and down here there's an image map. And image maps are kind of a 1990s technology, but they're still really useful. And what I'm looking for here are things that aren't really showing up on the web page. So one of the interesting things I see immediately is this is a scoreboard. When I see this is a scoreboard, where have I seen that before? Well, I've seen that in the cookie. So I'm wondering if somehow the cookie is being used to populate this tag. And for my cross-site scripting friends out there you go. Start with that. So what I want you to do now is I'd like you to take a look, go to the web page, and start looking at the web page, and start looking at the source code, and there's something hidden in here. And go ahead and take. Let's do 5 minutes. And I'm just go ahead and you can totally ignore me, turn your mic off. I'll continue talking. Go ahead and take 5 minutes to look around. Look around the web page. Click on the things down here. There's a scoreboard. There's an about. There's a prizes page. And by the way, for those of you who are within reasonable mailing, if you're in the continental United States, there's still some unclaimed prizes. There's a deck of cards. There's some shot glasses. There's a T-shirt. If you find these, I'm happy to mail those to you. So there's still prizes out there. So there's teams. You go to your teams. If you want to make your own, so this is swift.sas.org. You can actually go here and create your own. If you want to have a party or something, you can actually create your own event. Here you click this, nothing happens. You'll find out why later, and you're always welcome to post on Twitter. So I'm going to keep on talking as you go along. But go ahead and keep looking, and look at the source code. And for those of you who didn't download Zap but are still watching, if you just right-click in your browser to view source, you can actually keep up with this quite a bit. But go through here and tell me what, just look through here. What doesn't make sense? Match what you see here against the web page. You're just looking for stuff in the source code that doesn't match the web page. And you don't have to know HTML to do this. A lot of this is common sense. And the reason that is as a hacker, I hack plenty of sites where I don't code the language. I recently had a Ruby engagement. I hacked into a Ruby site. Well, I don't program in Ruby, not at all. But you just need to learn how to think about things. And if you have any questions, whoa, AAB just got the T-shirt. That's fantastic. So you can tell me, get your address to me, your mailing address, and I will get the T-shirt to you. That's very cool. I'm not sure who AAB is, but congratulations. So it looks like we have someone who's actually found the TVs as well. So there's people actually making progress. So congratulations. Now, the thing about the TVs is when you look at the TVs, it's just a weird dystopian type of web page. And that's a tradition. Every year there's these weird TVs and bad Santa you have to find. I'm not sure why. It's just been that way for 15 years. But keep digging deeper in the TVs. There's you keep going all the way to the end. Not sure about highlighting this. So the only thing to highlight was I got rid of it. Like look here, my screen, it's got the Mozilla location services. I don't want those to go through my proxy. It's not hurting anything. I just want to get in the way, and so I don't want to accidentally attack it. So I simply right click it. I go to exclude from, and I click proxy. It just keeps things simple. I do it all the time. If oftentimes I'll go ahead and I'll launch a vulnerability scan against these, and you can get in trouble for that. So look at the source code in here. Remember up top there's a request. The request is the HTTP header that went to the server, and the response is how the server came back. You've got the header information up here, and you've got the HTML down here. And if there was any JavaScript embedded in the JavaScript, it would be that. And down here, there's bars. There's an alert bar. These are things that it finds. And these are this is the passive stuff that it finds. So Kevin, what if you launched your browser through that, the map page is the first place you come to. And if for some reason you're not there at /2020/map with a capital M, and it would show up over here into 2020. So it would show up under www.massai.org 2020, then map. And then to open HTML, you're going to up here on the top, Kevin, there's a response. You've got the response data. You've got the request data, which was your GET request. So the your browser actually went to the server and said, give me the information for that page. And the server responds with this. So you're going to go here and find map. The GET is capital, in all caps, GET : map. And that should be over here under response. So for AAB, if you want to, if you're on LinkedIn, feel free to send me a LinkedIn chat or a Twitter chat, or I can try to IM you my email address. You can give it to me. Looks like Kevin has a question before we move on. I miss doing this stuff in person. I miss people just talking to me. Oh, so Kevin's taking an image instead of source code. You know, Kevin, if you downloaded a bunch of extra plugins and use that, I'm guessing you're using there's a plugin that renders things as a web page instead of code. It's actually counterproductive. Let's see. Up here, you should have, it should be, the body should be text. If you go to market, so Kevin, my guess is if you go to marketplace, if you're going to have there's going to be a plugin installed, and I think it's this one, but it's about rendering web pages. Let's see, might even have it installed. So Kevin, check your what the plugins you have installed, and there's going to be a few there you want to uninstall. one of them is, I can't think of the name of it, but it does exactly what you're saying. And instead of seeing the code, you're stuck seeing the source code. And as a hacker, it's actually counterproductive. I don't want to see the image. I want to see the source code. So, no, so actually that's right. The one you have installed is correct. That's not what's causing your problem, Kevin. It's what's causing your problem would be, and I think it's uninstalled, but what's causing your problem would be, this is face to face. I'd walk over your desk and just show you. This makes me crazy. Yeah, I'm not saying it. So Kevin, just touch. Yeah, I'd love to in person too. When COVID's over, I'll come to Pomona for you all. So I'm not saying it here, Kevin. Look in your installed plugins, and it literally talks about rendering a web page. Browser view. If you have that installed, uninstall it. Go ahead and click it. Like check the box, and then at the bottom it says uninstall selected. Try that and see if that helps you solve the problem. Let's see where people are. Oh, wow. POID 1357 is doing quite well. Command injection won't work, but bonus points for trying that. Also, if one of you is using it, if that's coming from an automated scanner, it looks like it is. There's actually a web against firewall. It'll block your IP eventually. So you probably want to don't actually start using an automated attack against the site. Okay, so Kevin, I'm not sure what's going on. Then it's hard to troubleshoot this way. Before we move on, so what people are finding is the ones who have the TV. If you look here, if you look at the map section, what you see is this image map, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 things to click. 14 kind of. If you go to the source code, things are pretty structured here. You've got targets, which are largely blank. You've got alt, and titles, which are the little things that pop up when you hover your mouse over it. The title is what the mouse hovers over. Your alt is what gets displayed if there's a problem with your browser or if you have a reader. So if you look at this, there's one of these, there's something that doesn't match. There's this thing called /2020/TVs that is essentially invisible. There's nothing there. So when you hover your mouse, when you go here and you hover your mouse over these, you get pop-ups, and that's the title tag. And you'll see these. There's no pop-ups here because you haven't gotten there yet. The game knows. The game only has to click on where you can go. But if you kind of hover over this TV here, you'll see it pops up into the annual Bad Santa Hall of TVs. And so part of my talk about not being too linear is you missed that. And the person that got the T-shirt found the T-shirt from one of the Christmas balls down here. We don't want to be too linear. When you do a pen test or hack something, or especially do research, you don't want to miss stuff. You want to do the full inspection. Let's go ahead now and click on the best. This is level 1. When you go here, what you'll see is this is level one. And if you haven't noticed yet, the whole thing's a DEF CON theme. So DEF CON is a hacker conference in Las Vegas every year. It probably won't be in person this year, but 2022, I'd love to see you all there. Hit me up if you're there, and I'd love to meet you. Things you can't get to, again, are unclickable. You can get to where you are. This will take you back to the maps. This will take you to the scoreboard, show you what you've done and haven't done. And then this will log you out. So go ahead, and what I want you to do is click on this link, and always pay attention to where the link goes. You know, it pops up and says, start your bad chance adventure. But look in your taskbar. If you look at the very bottom of your browser, and you do this, that should take you somewhere. So I always check on where I'm supposed to go, and I always compare it to where I end up. So I'm going to click on Catch the Bus, and it says, oh no, you missed the bus. Try again. It says level one requires hacker attention to detail and hacker level of instrumentation. Stay aware. So where I ended up is, I ended up on missedbus.php. So I try again, and when I click on it, it's supposed to take me to start.php, but it jumps me ahead. So if you come back to your ZAP, you find the subdirectory for level one, which is here, and you can see there's the missed bus, and there's the start. And the start says, congratulations, you found the hidden page. Well, I never saw that. When I go to my browser, it says, oh no, you missed the bus. I never saw the part that said congratulations on the page. So I'm going to give you a few minutes here to figure out how to get, there's several different ways to get where you want to go. Let's go ahead and take a few minutes now to figure out how to make this box here, the level 2 box, get to level 2. So go ahead and take 5 minutes. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the Discord chat. It looks like a lot of people have made it to level 2. Root text on level 3 already. Yeah, and if this is old, if this is like stuff you've already been there, done that, please feel free to move ahead. Don't wait for me. Just keep on going. If you have questions from the chat, don't let me hold you back. When you go here on a page called, we start off on a page, this level 1, and we end up, we click a button to catch the bus, and instead of going to start.php, we end up on missedbus.php. So something funny is happening. If you look at that, we're clearly missing something. Something funny is happening because we're missing the page that says congratulations, you found the hidden page. cross-site scripters. So for those who are still stuck, you actually know what to do already. So you want to get to the start.php page because the contents of the start.php page has what you want. So the start.php is something you want, but the truth is you don't need to see it in your browser because everything that the browser saw is right here. So looking at this page in your ZAT, or if you just look at source code, what does it say? Congratulations, you found the hidden page. To progress, go here. So at this point, what I would do is I would copy and paste this. You can right click it and click copy, or use Control-C. Then go to your browser. Go back to your browser, and your root is badsci.org. Go ahead and paste that in. And if you go here, you got your congratulations. So to walk you through it again, you don't need to see the web page. In fact, you can't see the web page. For those who are looking, what I did is I used a HTTP meta tag that says after 0 seconds, forward the browser here. So even if you've actually been to this page a lot, that's why it's showing up in that. And the only way to actually see this would be to have some kind of browser history or proxy capture. So go ahead, click on this start where it says get :start.php. Looks like there's a Q&A question. So William, there's a whole bunch of different meta tags, and what meta tags are is they actually predate JavaScript. They're in the early days of HTTP. You still see them a lot, and the meta tags will give the browser information. Some of them are actionable, like the refresh tells the browser to do things. Others are just there for metadata, like meta keywords, just keywords. But meta refresh can either refresh the same page. So the elements are the refresh, then the content is how many seconds, not milliseconds, from the URL to go to. If the URL is null, it'll just refresh the same page over and over again. If the URL page is not null, it'll go to that page after that many seconds. This is actually the kind of the early JavaScript version of window.location. If you code in JavaScript at all, window.location does the same thing. This is just sort of a slicker way to do it. So copy and paste this. It looks like there's one more chat. I'm sorry, I just can't see the chat. I can see the QA, but I can't see the chat. So if you don't mind, if someone who can see the chat can put that in the Discord. So
yeah.
how do I put it?
So someone's asking how they can start up. I think they might have joined in kind of late here.
Okay. Yeah. So if you joined in late, if you have your Zap installed, you're going to want to go to this Quick Start. Up here on the very top, the bar, it'll say Quick Start with a yellow lightning bolt. Click on that, and you will type in http:// not s, http:// with your organization.badsci.org. So not .com.org. You'll want to uncheck the box that says Enable HUD, and then click on Launch Browser, and that'll give you information. What we'll do for the person who just chatted back, for one, I can't see the chat, something's broken. Go ahead and put things in Discord, and they'll answer next. So the next time we do a little working session, I'll come back and get you caught up, okay? So if you go back to the response, you're going to copy and paste this, right click, copy, and you're going to paste that into your browser, just like this. So for Proxima at midnight, when you go to your the map page, you have to click on the bus. When you click on the bus, the traffic will be proxied through your ZAP intercept, and it'll show up. So you have to make sure on that page to see it. This one is kind of a torture test, but it's so real life. This is the kind of thing that if you're a pen tester or a researcher, is when I talk about you have to be borderline OCD, this is where that comes in. And what it is there's a Daniel Puamo, it's a long story, but we were doing we'd actually been attacked when using automated scanner, and they're actually trying to cross-site scripting us with unusual character sets. And in the early days of emojis, they were actually attacking us with a poo emoji, and it was a Friday afternoon after a long week, and we pulled up the logs. Our logs are full of poo emojis, and it became a thing after that. So you got this stuff. So always read this information carefully. And this is just a torture test, and you're going to hate me for it. But when you click a seat that doesn't have poo, it's green. When you click a seat that has poo, it's red. And you have to get 8 greens without an X number of reds for it to go to the next level. So mathematically, you're going to be clicking this forever. It's just not going to work. And it's going to log you off, and it's going to be ugly. So what you want to do is look at the source code. So the subdirectory now is 2020 hyphen, and just as a clue, the first and last digit is always a level. So when you go back to your ZET, you can look at this, and what you see is this JavaScript from hell. It just is ugly. But you have 2 choices. You can keep clicking on this, which is just going to be in vain, or you can look at the JavaScript and look for patterns. And you do not have to code in JavaScript to understand this. If you look at this, there are certain elements called button. You can see my button 1, my button 7. There's buttons names. That's pretty clear. There's a function called respond to poo, which I'm assuming means you've clicked on poo, and there's a function called guess correctly. So as a security researcher or a hacker, I don't have to know a lot about what they were doing. I'm looking for clues. So if you look at this, you don't have to know JavaScript. You can ignore the fact it's just ugly and a big mess, and you can figure out what they click on. So go ahead. This is a puzzle, and this is far more real life than you may realize. Because when you remember that thing I showed you, when you start off as a security engineer, you really don't get paid to think about stuff like this. You get paid to run reports. As you move into penetration testing, you're following a script. But as you become a bug bounty hunter and a researcher, you really start to spend your time focused on stuff that scanners will miss. And whoever it was running an automated scanner, I promise you, automated scanner would find nothing of interest here. The automated scanner would say, oh, JavaScript, and move on. So go ahead and let's take 5 minutes to, if you need more, we'll do more. Take 5 minutes to kind of figure out the code here, because there's definitely code. You've got some functions that are responded to, some functions that are guessed directly, and you've got buttons that start with my button 1, my button 2. Go ahead and find the patterns here. No, even coding in JavaScript won't be much help here because it's just a big ugly mess. But take a look here and try to figure out the patterns, and use the patterns here to solve the puzzle on the website. Now for Proxima Midnight, Um, I'm assuming you're proxying traffic, and I'm assuming that you've gone through level 1. If that's not correct, we'll have to help you troubleshoot. If that is correct, what you're seeing here on level 1 is you should actually see level 1 here now. In the directory structure, the directory structure will be, you may have noticed you jumped from swift.badgecenter.org and you jumped to www.badgecenter.org. So open up www.badgecenter.org, and you should have level 1 there. If you don't, I'll help you troubleshoot. People on levels 4 and 5. That's awesome. So TOID I357, that score of 20 is horrible. That's totally designed to cheat on. You should take it. You absolutely have to cheat. So get that score up to 100, because that score is 100. That game is 100% meant to. It's actually a real game. I downloaded the code from the web, and it's 100% meant to cheat on. You should not have 20%. Go ahead and go back to that and cheat like crazy. And you found the monolith, you found the hotwire, fantastic. You did hotwire, wow. Okay. So one of the little side challenges is Hacker Jeopardy, which is common for a game at DEF CON. And this is actual open source code that's just vulnerable as hell. So the point of the game is not to know the answers. The point of the game is to cheat. So it is a hacker escape room. There's absolutely no rules. The only rule in this escape room is please don't hack the back end. It's hosted by GoDaddy. And if you hack them, you'll go to jail. If you hack this application, no problem. I encourage you to do it. If you find things no one's found, I'll give you a shout out. I'll give you credit for it. So hack this thing like crazy. There's absolutely no rules. If you can cheat, by all means cheat. It's a hacker escape room. The minute you call it a hacker escape room, there's no rules left. Okay, so that's thing level 2 for so Proxima Midnight, it's actually it's not called level 2. From this point on, look for these long strings, or actually I think hashes. And that was designed to prevent cheating. You know, even though you're supposed to cheat in this game, I do my best to prevent cheating. So you can't guess what level 3 will be. But if you find a folder that starts with 2, that's level 2. And when we get to level 3, you'll see level 3. It looks like there's a few people still on level 2. We'll keep going. We'll stay on level 2 for a little bit longer. So to get past level 2, this level, if you look at the functions, guess correctly is exactly what it sounds like. You guessed correctly, and these are all associated with a seat. So A9 equals seat 9, A3 equals seat 3. So respond to for A5. If we go back to food challenge. So five is green. So if you look at, you know 5 is green. So we'll get to the TVs in just a moment. So you're going to correspond to these numbers, and my screen, as you can see, is kind of a mess. So when you look at this, guess correctly, I think corresponds to A2. We click on 2 in the screen. So you look, what we know now is we know that the function name, a sub number, corresponds to guess correctly. So when you find the guess correctly, you'll know that will get you through. So is anyone, so it's tedious work. And it's hard for me that my Zap is covered up by some of this the Zoom stuff. So when you find guess correctly, see what precedes it. So an A2 precedes it. Actually, can someone who's finished put their correct numbers in Discord for me? My screen's covered up by Zoom, I'm afraid. I can write these down. That's okay. I'm let me move my stuff around. I think A1's response. Yeah. So A1 is responded to. A2 is guessed correctly. So you want to click on 2. 3 is responded to, so you don't want to click on there. 4 is responded to. 5 is guessed correctly. Now I'll put these in Discord if you need me to. 6 is responded to. 7 is guessed correctly. 8 is guessed correctly. 9 is responded to. 10 is guessed correctly. 11 is responded to. 12 is responded to. 13 is guessed correctly. 14 is guessed correctly. 15 is responded to. 16 is guessed correctly. 17 is responded to. 18 respond. 19 respond. 20 is guessed. Thank you. Who did that? Oh, code beautifier. Excellent. So it's going to be 2, 5, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14, 16. There we go. So Kevin, you're stuck on level 3. We'll get there in a second. So everyone now should have done completed level 2, the POO challenge. So if you haven't gotten past the POO challenge, it looks like May SAS has put the correct answers down. So go ahead and click on those, go back here, and you're going to click 2, 5, 7, 8, 13, 14, 16, 20. And the minute you get them all, it'll automatically redirect you. And let's take a look at where we are. So who's still stuck? It looks like user 1 is still stuck on level 2. User 1, if you're still stuck after this, I'll also go back and help you. So this is 2 parts. And what you see here in this, again, this is very much real life security research. This is no scanner will find this. There's really no vulnerabilities here. This is just bypassing locks. So much of what you do is bypassing locks. So what you have here is you have a whole bunch of different choices. When you click the wrong one, you get rickrolled. And rickrolls, when you go to the scoreboard, rickrolls actually count against you. So if you go here, back to the scoreboard, and you look at my name, you go to the overall scoreboard, you'll see I've been rickrolled. So what you want to do is for some reason, you want to just want to click. And if you read here, over here, there's some things to click and some hints. So I don't want to run out of time. Go ahead and take 2 minutes to try to figure out which locker to click. And the truth is there's something bad about getting rickrolled that no one will know. It's your own personal business. But you go ahead and kind of figure out for 2 minutes to click, then we'll go to the next one. Yep, gotta be elite, Kevin. You gotta be elite. It's a DEF CON themed hacking party this year. You gotta throw elite in there. So I'm gonna let you guys, for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, come back later and figure it out. But to keep things moving forward, we'll finish this level, then we're gonna move on to some traditional hacking for you. Kevin put in the chat leak. 1337 is slang for leak. So if you click on 1337, this gets really hard. We'll spend 5 minutes here. I won't tell you how to solve it if you haven't solved it already. And then we're going to go on to actual traditional vulnerability scanning and hacking. So Kevin, this is the hardest. It turns out this is the hardest. It's supposed to go in order where things get harder. People get stuck here more often than not. So what you have here is you have a lock. The lock is closed, and actually, my Linux isn't rendering it right. But there's radio buttons here you're not seeing. And when you got to close, you have a closed lock. When you click submit, it says you want an open lock. And if you go over here and you look at the source code, there's all kinds of really conflicting things. You'll see that you'll look at the source code. There's you will see that all kinds of hints about wanting the lock to be open. So, Kevin, this is the most frustrating level of the whole challenge. And when you figure out how to solve this, you're going to kick yourself because I think it's actually pretty easy. Yeah. So in the Discord, you're right. That's how to approach this. And you can see it's taken me 2 tries. Every time I try, it fails. There's cookies being set. I don't want to run out of time today. So let's. I also don't want to spoil the fun for you, figuring this one out. Although this is people get really serious about this one. It's think very. So you found the script. Try the script. Keep trying. So yeah. Okay. So you found this. You found some JavaScript. That's true. Let's look at the Java. Go back and look at the source code. When you click response, what that script tells you want an open lot. So there's not much. All that does is an alert. It simply says you want an open lot. Every time you do anything here, it says you want an open lot. When you go up to the description, even the descriptions will tell you in different places. There's hints all over the place, but what you want to find is you want to find an open lot. Security is all about bypassing controls. Controls. Nope, not injectable. You can try injecting it all you want to, but this is a very simple, old school challenge. So when you read what it says, and there's a hint here. What the web page displays is a closed lock. What you want to display is a lock that is open. Display a lock that is open. And for those looking at HTML, when HTML, the way it outputs an image, there's an image tag. It's quite literally IMG, and there's a few parameters. The parameter that actually tells the browser what image to fetch is src. So look at the HTML. What's happening is the HTML code is telling the browser to go out and fetch an image that's located at /2020/images/lock close. You can literally copy and paste this. If I were to copy this, right-click, go copy, and go to my browser, you actually can see this image here. And that is an image of a lock that is closed. And that cost me a try. So yep, it was right there in front of you the whole time. Every major compromise or find I've had has been one that's been in front of me the whole time. You just have to learn to look for these and be persistent. So a few people have found it already. Let's do 1 more minute and we'll talk about what we'll do next. We're down to about half an hour. Okay, a lot of people have found it. So what you have is the browser is being told to fetch an image of a closed block. What you want to have happen instead is you want the browser to fetch an image of an open lot. And I'm going to leave it there. And since I can't talk to you, when I talked to Jennifer about doing this, I didn't want to do this 90 minutes because that's too hard. There's a QA. Yeah, does every refresh the page count? Yeah. So every time you refresh the page, it increments one. What I want to do is, before we go on to the next level, what I want to do is I want to do a couple more sessions of these because I don't want to leave you frustrated. So if you don't mind, I'll put a URL in chat. Can you go to menti.com, enter that code, or if you don't want to do that, I have a URL for you. You pull that up. But if you go to menti.com, I want you to vote on what times you want. If you want to do this again, and I'm happy to do it again if you want to. If you want to do it again, what day works best for you? And I'll put a link in Discord. You can scan the QR code if you're crazy. You can go to Menti and type in that, or in the Discord, there's something to click. Oh, no, don't ignore the link I just sent. Go to menti.com and type in this number here. So just go to menti.com and type in that number. Ignore the link I put in Discord. That won't help you. And when we do it on Zoom, I'll have the volume on so we can all talk to each other, and it can be a little more interactive. Okay, so Wednesday evenings, Saturday late mornings, or Sundays. So what I will do is, I'm not sure how to get a hold of you all. I will, I think the Discord stays open. What I'll do is I'll put a few Zoom links. I'll put a few Zoom links into the Discord after this is over, and we can get together. And what we'll do is we'll just keep walking through this until you all finish, and we'll keep on going that way. Okay, cool. What I want to do now is we've done what you haven't done any traditional vulnerability scanning that Zap can do, and we haven't actually hacked anything yet. And everyone wants to hack something that comes like this. What I want you to do, and do not click anything. This is a vulnerable website. There's something to hack for hacking on purpose, but people will post malware on it. So go to testasp.vulnweb.com. So testasp.vulnweb.com. Do not click these buttons down here. You're cool if you don't, but if you click on one of these, and I'm on Linux, so I just laugh because they don't have any exploit close links. But it's safe to go to this page and click on login. I'm going to get rid of all my opening up that Menti just wiped out my Zap. So I'm going to get rid of these. And you should all get to here. And you're going to go to testasp.vulnweb.com. Go there and click on login. Now, so earlier today, let me go back to this part. So earlier today, I registered the name Bad Santa 213. So there is a user on there named Bad Santa 213. And you don't know the password. You just know my username. You saw it on You saw it on social media. Somehow you know my username. But now we're going, anything you want to, this recommend will go ahead. I use a bunch of capital P's to make it easy to find. Type in a bunch of capital P's or anything you want to, totally up to you, and click login. And what happens is you get these text areas again, and then you get invalid login. So everyone get here. It's testasp.vulnweb.com. We're going to do an authentication bypass here using brute force. And there's one thing I need to do. I need to jump around a bit. I need you to, if you can, go to badsanta.org//passwords capital P.text. So in your browser, go back to badsanta.org/passwords capital P passwords.txt. And then go ahead and save that. Save it as a text file or copy. You can highlight and copy, whatever it takes. Highlight, you'll hit Control-A, then copy and paste into a text file. But what this is, it's the 500 most common passwords. If you Google 500 most common passwords, this is what comes up. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But badsanta.org, passwords.text. Now, in the real life, I've got, and most people we do what I would do, have millions of these. And what we do is we start off with the top 500. If that doesn't work, we're the top 10,000. And if we really care a lot, we're the top 100,000. But so go to the top 500 first. And interestingly, when you actually work with malware, the malware investigators will tell you that the bad guys who have their malicious payloads that include their own password list, they only use the top 500 because they're so confident that some bozo has used the common password. They don't need to have any more than that. So download the password file and save it somewhere where you can find it to your desktop. And I should have thought you did that earlier on. And if you haven't, I don't want to run out of time. If you haven't done that yet, that's okay. We'll now find your testasp.vulnweb.com and find the posting. So with HTTP, there's GET. The browser just goes to the browser and says, the browser goes to the web server and says, send me this stuff. That's a GET request. A post request is when it sends something over in the header. And in this case, you can see what was sent over. Oh, let me resend that. I went. It's Santa 213 and a whole bunch of P's. And click login. Okay. So looks like I'm being prompted. We have to move on. So Louis, how much time do I have? 2 minutes. Do I have to hang up now?
Yeah, 2 or 3 minutes is good. Is
okay.
That okay with you?
Yep. I'm gonna go fast. Then we can catch up on this in our next session. What I'm missing though is the post request is here. What we're gonna do is right click the post request, right click it, and click on attack. And under attack, the last one you'll see is fuzz. So click on fuzz. So right click, attack, fuzz. And what you'll see down here are the things we posted. Badsanta 213. Double click. I'm going to go fast, and I promise you when we meet next, I'll catch that. Highlight that. Highlight that and click add. Click add. And if you have the file handy, click on file and just add the file. I don't have the file actually. So if you don't have the file, click on strings and add a bunch, any strings you want to. The password is actually Swift, up uppercase. And we're going to click add. And once you do that, we're going to click go, and we'll click start fuzzing. And what happens here is, if you look at this, you'll see the response size. All but one is 3,019 bytes. And if you look at there, that's the page that says invalid login, right? There's only one thing here that's different. So you know that that's the correct password. The password is Swift. This works great on hotel Wi-Fi. If you need a hotel Wi-Fi, it says last name and room number. Type in Smith and numbers 1 through X, and you get free Wi-Fi as well. That's how you fuzz. So what I'll do is I'll schedule some, for those that want to continue, I'll schedule some more time. Thank you very much. I know you're in Zoom all week on classes and studying. The fact you take time off on your Saturday to learn about Zoom and hacking is phenomenal. I really appreciate it. So if you go to Discord, you'll find my LinkedIn information. If you want help with your resume, you need to contact someone. If you've got a job interview, anything you do to be of help, let me know, and I'm happy to help. With that said, we can do a couple Q&As until Louis kicks us out.
Anyone have any questions for Mike here?
And I can, for what it's worth, I can actually see the chat now. I'm not sure why it's coming through. So feel free to put them in either chat, Discord, both. So thank you very much, people. I'll put some stuff in Discord in the next half hour or so about Zoom times, and we'll hack that site. You'll learn SQL injection bypass, brute force bypass, and we'll get through bad Santa. In the meantime, feel free to stay in touch on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. That was really awesome.
Thank you.